What happened in the last week around the game of Geoguessr is nothing short but incredible and a testament to how a community of a game can really change things for the better. So Geoguessr is a growing esport, and it's basically just a game where you have to guess where you are in the world based on pictures. And they have pulled impressive numbers with the last two World Cups, so they are definitely an aspiring esport, definitely growing, and I'm one of the top players in this esport. Now, a week ago, Geoguessr announced that one of the wildcards that qualifies players for this year's World Cup will be held in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia as a part of the Esports World Cup circuit. So basically, two last chance spots for qualification would be given out in that tournament in Riyadh, and 16 players basically should travel there and play. As a result of that, there was an initial backlash from the Geoguessr community, which led Geoguessr to put out a statement, ChatGPT put out a statement. So obviously that wasn't satisfactory, so yesterday the biggest map makers in Geoguessr pulled a coordinated action in which they put all of the maps private. These maps are usually what's played in Geoguessr, so the functionality of the game itself was really impaired by this protest. Then some players also started withdrawing from the event, namely Fenab, and today, finally, we actually got the news from Geoguessr that they are withdrawing from the Esports World Cup, which is an insane achievement for the community and this protest. So in this video I'm gonna go over first, why were we protesting? What is the issue with Geoguessr holding a tournament in Saudi Arabia? Then second, how did the protest go? What exactly happened and how can you support? And then third, what are maybe the implications for other esports? Alright, so first of all, what is the problem with Geoguessr hosting the tournament in Riyadh? So for that, I'll quickly go over what the Esports World Cup actually is. It is hosted in Saudi Arabia every time, as far as I'm aware. It has huge games and huge prize pools like Dota, Valorant, Apex Legends, League of Legends. So yeah, tons of really big platformers are at this Esports World Cup. Obviously, those are different to Geoguessr because they are backed by huge corporations, while Geoguessr is a firm that only has one game, which is Geoguessr. And it's a small firm located in Stockholm. The employees are pretty nice. So for Geoguessr to join the Esports World Cup in Saudi Arabia is a step that is questionable. But the reason for it is probably because Geoguessr pulled some impressive numbers at the last World Cups, viewership-wise. So they want to establish themselves as a real esport, and maybe they wanted to join this circuit for the next years. It would have only been a side event though, so not even the prize pool would be sponsored from the Saudi Arabian government like these ones are. And Geoguessr would not officially be part of the Esports World Cup, but it would be in the same circuit in the same week. Now the big problem with Saudi Arabia is that it's an authoritarian regime and they are engaging in what is so-called sportswashing. So this regime has many problems about human rights abuses, etc., which I will go over in a second. And their strategy is to basically get sporting events like football events and whatever, or esports events to the country to distract from those, to improve their image as a country, and basically just, keep the people happy. If you want to learn more about the sports washing part, I will link a video in the description below from a Valorant channel that I watched. It was very insightful, so definitely you can watch that. So Geoguessr has a very diverse community. There's a lot of LGBTQ representation in this community. It's very diverse, and also we have a lot of obviously geographically interested and also geopolitically interested people. So therefore it was kind of to be expected that the community would not take this lightly and would protest it. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. Because in Saudi Arabia, LGBTQ people are not safe. So they can be punished by law, for example, being thrown in jail or something like that. So actually one of the biggest problems which Geoguessr must have known, like how did they not think of this? One of the competitors invited to this wildcard is trans. And you can just not guarantee their safety in Saudi Arabia. Like, even if you say, some people have been saying in the lead up to this, the Esports World Cup is safe, nothing ever happened to people attending the Esports World Cup. But like, the person still has to enter the country, be at the airport, go to a bathroom. Like, the thing is, like, as a trans person, you cannot be safe in a country like this that could just throw you in jail or worse. Like, if there is still a risk, you just can't go there. It's impossible. And the fact that Geoguessr still put on this wildcard is pretty insane to me. And there's also a lot of other political issues with Saudi Arabia, like the war they are waging against Yemen, their oppression of atheists or ex-Muslims, or the human rights abuses of migrant workers who make up 40% of the population there. Again, those topics are also touched upon in the video that I linked below, so check that out if you want to learn more. And what's crazy is that Geoguessr puts us players in a very, very difficult decision here. Like, I would be probably invited to this wildcard if I didn't get top 3 at the European Championships that are coming up in a few weeks. So I would have had to make the decision, do I ignore my morals and do I go, even though some players literally can't go there that are included in this wildcard, and potentially try to win one of the last 2 spots at the World Cup, or do I just boycott it and then maybe never get the chance again to reach the Geoguessr World Cup? So I was in a really bad spot there. I was making a video actually yesterday about this event anyways, and today it was supposed to drop, but now it's totally obsolete. So this is what you're getting instead, a new video with new developments. I just had to record everything from scratch again, but that's fine. It's a happy topic now, so yeah, glad to talk about it like this. And lastly, while talking about the Saudi government, there's one argument that I've heard floating around a few times that I want to touch upon, and was, oh, why are you not boycotting the tournament in the US? Because the US is just as bad as Saudi Arabia, or like also committing human rights abuses, right? The thing is, the prize money of the Esports World Cup comes directly out of the funds of the Saudi government family. So actually, this event is directly related to the government, which it is not in the US. It's just a gaming festival there that is completely separate to the government. And the Saudi tournament would be directly related to sportswashing, and therefore it is very, very different. And this is something that we as a community should protest and that we did protest against. So let's touch upon how the community protested. After the initial ChatGPT response from Geoguessr, yesterday all of the big map makers made their maps private or basically unable to play them. So the thing is that all of those big community maps, like a community world, a varied world, improved world, official world, that people regularly play on and that are an integral part of the game, were unavailable. And all of those are actually user made. So the users have a lot of power in Geoguessr, because if those maps are missing, basically a lot of Geoguessr just falls flat. A lot of gameplay is totally impaired. For example, in ranked Geoguessr right now, they have to play world in every single division. Before that, there were different user-made maps in this, and now the world map is so bad that it's just comical. And this is the one that Geoguessr themselves have created, but it includes stuff like being on a boat or being inside of a shop or something like that, and it's totally not balanced out for country size and stuff like that. So you might get Vienna more often than you get a location in the US in general. It's like a super terrible map, and without the community, Geoguessr really does not function. So this protest was really, really effective. Many news outlets also picked that up. And then we had stuff like this tournament was announced, the Rainbow Classic, in a direct response to the Geoguessr tournament, which would be hosted at the same time as the Geoguessr wildcard in Saudi Arabia, which is for LGBTQ players and women. So for basically those groups of people that would be at the disadvantage in Saudi Arabia, which is an awesome idea, and this will happen anyways. So definitely check out the Rainbow Classic when it happens. It's a very nice tournament, and this is a link to donate. And I think the prize pool is already like half as big as the prize pool for the original tournament was. So if you're interested in donating to that, definitely do so. I think it's a great statement, a great alternative to the actual tournament. Then we also had further players dropping out, like Feneb, who wrote this document about why he does not want to attend the Saudi Arabian wildcard. And I was also obviously gonna make a video about it, but now I don't have to, luckily. And yeah, all of that boycott proved to be very successful, and now the Geoguessr wildcard in Saudi Arabia is actually cancelled, which is a huge achievement for this community. And I just want to give a big thank you to everybody who supported, everybody who spammed the Discord, everybody who made their voices be heard. And I think that the fact that we actually managed to get out of the sportswashing tournament, even though there's a lot of money on the line, Geoguessr has some investors, for example, big investment groups that just care about the profit, and Geoguessr still made the right decision to not attend this tournament. And I think this could also be a nice example for other esports, because in other esports, I don't think it has ever happened that one of the esports has actually pulled out of one of these tournaments due to human rights concerns, and Geoguessr has made it clear in the statement that they are listening to the community here. And I think this could be a stepping stone for other esports to follow. So if you are in a different community right now than Geoguessr, and your community is participating in tournaments like this, just know protests can be effective, make your voices heard, and let's fight against this injustice. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below so this video reaches more people. I would really appreciate it, and see you guys in a regular video soon.